بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يقربنا إليك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل وعلمنا الحكمة وبعد. So I think we're up to, so we did the building the society last time, like بناء المجتمع, and now he's gonna start with Ghazawat. غزواته صلى الله عليه وسلم. And of course, Ghazwa, like there's, battles or just expeditions, right? It doesn't have to be a battle because it still counts as a Ghazwa if Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam went with the Sahaba somewhere and they were supposed to meet some enemy and they didn't meet them. It would still count as a Ghazwa. So it doesn't necessarily mean battles. It's more like expeditions. And I think that's a lot of times it's translated that way. There's also another term like a Sariya. So Ghazawat is singular of Ghazwa. Another term is Sariya, which is like a night raid type of thing. But sometimes they use it more broadly and they make it like any kind of raid or something like that, like raiding a caravan. Like is what well that's what Badr was supposed to be, right? Raiding the caravan, but then they didn't even get to the caravan, the Muslims, and instead they had to meet the actual army because Abu Sufyan got back to Mecca so quickly. Omar, go ahead.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I've heard before that Sharia is for like basically an expedition the Prophet ﷺ didn't go on, but the Sahaba did. Is that
Yeah, you're right. That's like in that became like a mustala in Sirah works later on. So that's what he follows here. Like look right here. It says Arsala Saraya. Like he sent Sariya or Sariyas Saraya. That means he didn't go. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But so I've seen like in like dictionaries that they say that originally it meant like a night, like something that goes at night, like a hidden kind of raid or something like that. But yeah, you're right. In Sierra works, they usually use it with this meaning, like something that the Prophet ﷺ didn't go on.
okay?
Yeah, and of course there's like there's some khilaf about how many ghazawat were there, how many did An-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam attend? Does it count as attending if he went halfway with them and then he went back to Medina and they kept going? So there's all these different khilafat there. But this is obviously a very short book. Even in mid-sized books, they won't really talk about that stuff. But in like larger works, like there's a good book, Asirat al-Nabawiyya fi Daw al-Qur'ani was Sunnah. It's I think the author's like a Salafi, but it's like a good it's like a good work in terms of like it talks about a lot of these fundamental ikhtilafat in like a nice modern way instead of a classical way. So I have it somewhere, so if someone wants the author, I could find it. But then of course we have so Subul al-Huda wal Rashad by As-Salihi ad-Dimashqi. That's like the classic huge work of Sirah. Like it gathers everything. By the way, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but Sheikh Samar had this nice observation. He says there's two streams in Sirah, like two streams of where we get the information. He said Tayyaran. I mean, he said this in Arabic this way. He said Tayyaran, like two streams, two main streams of Sirah information. One of them is the Ibn Hisham stream. So what do we have from Ibn Hisham? Who's Ibn Hisham, I mean?
There's an early scholar of Sirah after Ibn Ishaq, and yeah,
Yeah.
his son on.
So he passed away in 218 Hijri, so quite early. And yeah, his main source was Ibn Ishaq, but not that wasn't his only source though, because of course he had many teachers, but his main source was Ibn Ishaq. But we don't have Ibn Ishaq anymore. Like we don't, it didn't survive, so now we only have Ibn Hisham. And Ibn Hisham himself, he says that he sometimes didn't include what Ibn Ishaq says, and that he put his own stuff in. And then we have the other mainstream, which is Ibn Sa'd. So we have tabaqat. He has a work called At-Tabaqat, and that's like according to Sheikh Samar at least, that's the other important source of Sira works because he has riwayat that Ibn Hisham and Ibn Ishaq didn't have access to. He's also early. I don't remember how early he is though. I don't remember the date. Maybe I could quickly find it. So Tabaqat ibn Sa'd is very another important source. But the thing is, it's not a Sira work. It's just like a bunch of riwayat, and you really have to do a lot of filtering. But Sheikh Samar said, it's good to try to read works that I tried to take from both. And I guess one other source you can say, which is somewhat neglected, is just it may sound strange, but the hadith collections sometimes are neglected by Sira authors. Sometimes they just like do what's in the Sira books, and then there's something clear in the hadith sources, but they won't necessarily incorporate that into their works because it's pretty much a separate genre. Um, that's if you consider it a separate genre. You can consider hadith and Sira and any other type of history all as one big history genre. So Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it. But yeah, that's what that was Sheikh Samar's like theory. I have some more notes written about it in my copy of Ibn Hisham, which is not here, I guess. But yeah, like I'll try to write something about it on the group. So Sheikh Samar, he recommends like for like a good work, like he recommends what's that work called? Nurul is it Nurul Yaqeen or Uyun al-Athar? One of those. I think it's Nurul Yaqeen for like a Sira book by by Al-Khudri. That's what like he studied when he was like a kid, because in Syria that's what I use. But he said he thinks that's a very good like summary in Sira Al-Khudri book. It's by Nurul Yaqeen. It's Nurul something. I think it's Nurul Yaqeen. It's popular. It's very popular. And he's like a relatively late scholar, like probably 1200s Hijri or something, I think. So that's what Shikama recommended. And he also recommended actually Shikama recommended another book that he said like for people who want to get like really want to get into it, but they don't want to spend like most of their time reading the Sira trying to figure out poetry. He said the best one is Tahdhib Sirat ibn Hisham. I think it's called Tahdhib Sirat ibn Hisham. Um, and so Tahdhib, means like he took out basically a lot of the poetry. This is by Ahmed Haroun or Dr. Azhari Sheikh. Let me just quickly look up the name. I have it in my library catalog online, so I'm just gonna look at that. That's probably the fastest way for me to find it. It's Ahmed Salam Haroun, something like that. So it's only one volume. It makes Ibn Hisham much shorter. It's called, oh yeah, Abdus Salam Haroun. The author is Abdus Salam Haroun. Why is this so thick? Okay, Abdus Salam Haroun. He's actually pretty famous. He was a pretty famous, I think, Azhari. So anyway, that one's he recommended that because it takes away all the asanid from Ibn Hisham, and the asanid are not that helpful unless you're kind of specialized, and I'm not. And it takes away a lot of the poetry because Ibn Hisham is full of poetry. We read Ibn Hisham every other week with Sheikh Samar on Sundays. So, like we finished like pretty much one quarter of it or so, almost a quarter of it. And yeah, it's like very heavy on the poetry and other stuff. And if you spend your time with the poetry, you basically never get to the Sirah because the first volume, like a lot of it is not even Sirah. It's like pre-Islamic Arab history. So anyway, those two works Sheikh Samar recommended.
Sorry, jump in. Is there a reason that he includes that? Like, what's the significance of all the poetry?
I mean, it does include a lot of Sira information, I guess, or it includes a lot of information about the Arabs. So it includes Abu Talib's poetry and Abdul Muttalib's poetry, talking about their forefathers. And I guess it has to do with like why Banu Hashim was selected from the Quraysh and why Quraysh was selected. But I guess you could look at Sira as like a subgenre of like Ayyam al-Arab. They have this genre of Ayyam al-Arab, like the history of the Arabs, basically. So in a way, you can look at it that way because a lot of what you see in the early Sira works, like a lot of the beginning material, is all like Arab history prior to An-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's still important because how can you understand the tribal rivalries that happened during Islam and after too, right? Umayyads and all these people. You can't really understand that without knowing some of the pre-Islamic Arab history. So you can say that's why. And also just, like these people are historians, right? So they're going to try to preserve all this stuff, poetry and all that. So anyway, that was a very roundabout way to get into this. I'll read the first paragraph, then Omar, Hamza, whoever wants to read, you can read. غزواته قال الدكتور نور الدين عطر رحمه الله تعالى ونفعنا الله بعلومه وبركاته في الدارين آمين. غزواته صلى الله عليه وسلم, so his expeditions صلى الله عليه وسلم. ولما اطمأنت بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الدار, so الدار here is the what do you call it, the fa'il. So basically, yeah, واستقر به القرار, so this is the فاعل. توجه مع إقامة المجتمع المسلم إلى أعدائه الكفار فعقد الألوية وقاد بنفسه الغزوات وأرسل السرايا وشن على المعتدين الغارات فغزا 25 غزوة قادها بنفسه. So here he said 25. There's other numbers that are different opinions. وأرسل أكثر من 50 سرية بقيادة قواده واشتهر من معاركه بدر وأحد والخندق وقريظة وخيبر ومؤتة وفتح مكة وحنين وتبوك ذات العسرة. Okay, so once النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم basically his like he had found a home and things settled down. Astaqrar wa Qarar, things had settled down because after the hijrah and after establishing society, Tawajjaha, so he started Tawajjaha, he basically turned his efforts or turned his attention along with building up the Muslim community. He turned his attention along with that to his enemies, the kuffar. And of course, here the kuffar is both the mushrikun of Makkah and then eventually the Jews of Medina became his enemies. I mean, they were always his enemies, but eventually they made their enmity public. فعقد الألوية وقاد بنفسه الغزوات. So anyone know what Alwiya is plural of? It's a plural. Um, there's a hadith with the singular on well, it's a plural of liwa. Anyone know what liwa means?
Yeah, like a flag.
Yeah, like a flag or a banner. So, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there's a hadith that he's going to be carrying one of the banners of something kind of day judgment. I can't remember the hadith. Liwa al-Hamd, banner of praise. Liwa al-Hamd. But anyway, here it says, Aqada literally means like, he tied the banners, right? So, it's basically saying he's like getting the army ready. فَقَدَ الْعَلْوِيَةَ وَقَادَ بِنَفْسِهِ الْغَزَوَاتِ, and he himself led the ghazawat. So قَادَ يَقُودُ, to lead. Literally it means like to lead an animal, right? Like an animal is behind you, a camel or a horse, and you're leading it by its reins on it's attached to its mouth or its head. So like yeah, he's leading them. قَادَ يَقُودُ بِنَفْسِهِ. And I think some Arabic dialects they use it now for like driving a car. They say يَقُودُ السَّيَّارَةَ, but not all of them. Anyway, so قاد بنفسه الغزوات. So he himself went, and he also sent expeditions. وشن على المعتدين الغارات, and he was very how do you say that? Like he launched. Uh, so he launched. What do you say? Like not expeditions. It's like little different raids and like incursions and stuff against those transgressors. The ones that really went too far. Al-Mu'tadin. And then he says for Gaza, and so he himself participated in 25 expeditions. قادها بنفسه. He led those expeditions, and he also sent more than 50 different expeditions. Um, with under the leadership of his own generals or leaders, commanders, whatever. واشتهر من معاركه. So these are the famous battles. Badr, Uhud, Al-Khandaq, the trench. Qurayza, meaning fighting Bani Qurayza. Khaybar, Khaybar. I don't remember which tribe they were fighting at Khaybar. One of the other two Bani, the Jewish tribes. We already got Qurayza here. So it was what was it? Banu Nadir, right?
Yeah, Banu Nadir. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Noon Zal, right? It's with a Zal.
I remember Nadir. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that's how you spell it. Banu Nadir.
Is this also in order? So, like all of this, it seems like it's in order.
Badr, Uhud, Al-Khandaq, Qurayza, Khaybar. Yeah, I think this is in order. Yeah. Fathu Makkah. Yeah, it is in order. Hunain happened right after Fathu Makkah, then Tabuk. Yeah. So Mu'tah. So then you remember anything about Mu'tah? Who was that against?
Prophet ﷺ wasn't. Was he there? I don't think he wasn't there,
Oh,
right?
I just realized that there's some khilaf, like should we call this a ghazwa or not? And even
Oh,
for
because he went halfway. Is that way?
yeah, I think so. I think that's why.
But
Was it Mutta? I think so. One of them he went like part of the way with them, and then he came back.
this is the one where like Khalid ibn Walid was
Yeah,
when they fought the Romans, right? Like,
yeah, and he took control after three other commanders had passed away.
yeah, I think from what I remember, yeah.
That's what I remember too. That was this one, not Tabuk, I think. Tabuk was difficult because on the way they like ran out of food and stuff, but not they didn't at Tabuk they didn't even meet the Romans, right?
Yeah, that's what I remember too. Yeah, that there wasn't actually any fighting.
Yeah, there wasn't any fighting because when they went there they didn't find the Romans there. The Romans meaning the what we call Byzantines, but yeah, the Romans. So yeah, Mu'tah and Fathu Makkah, of course. Hunain was against that big confederation of um was it like northeastern tribes like Hawazin and stuff like that. And then Tabuk also was supposed to be against the Romans. And interestingly, in like non-Islamic sources, there doesn't seem to be any like Tabuk was a reaction to like some rumors of aggression from the Romans, like they're coming for us, so we're gonna go get them first. And interestingly, like what I've read there, like other sources that we have access to, like Western sources, don't seem to have this in there. Anyway, it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying like it'll be interesting to figure out more like where they got that information and why why they believe that was happening and stuff like that. Because Byzantines, like during Islam, they had a lot of ups and downs against the Persians. So it'd be interesting if they were coming for Muslims, because the Muslims by that time had already co-opted some of the Arab tribes which were Christian and allied to the Byzantines. So it's possible that like it's possible they were responding to that, these Romans. I don't know. Like like what's that? There's a Ghassan and all these famous Christian tribes, and Taghlib and these other tribes, and those they were already Christian by that time, like well, actually well before Islam, and they were like Byzantine allies. So like it seems like Muslims had taken over some of those places already, or not taken over, but at least like had influence there. So who knows? Maybe they're trying to stop this new religion before it can really take hold. Um, Omar, do you want to read from here or Hamza?
I can read the next one because I have to step out for 2 minutes, inshallah. I'll be right back.
That's fine. Hamza, if you want to read, you can, or otherwise I'll keep going.
I can try reading inshallah.
Okay.
قال المصنف رحمه الله أنجز صلى الله عليه وسلم تلك العمليات الحربية كلها
So you made
كلها
well, first al-harbiyya is sifa for what?
العمليات
Yeah, so what's the i'rab of
oh,
al-amaliyat?
it's منصوب
Yeah, it's mansub. So how should read al-harbiyya?
الحربية كلها
Yeah, good. Because this one is what is it called? What kind of plural is this?
جمع التكسير
No, it's not jama taksir, right? Because it's using alif and ta.
جمع مؤنث سالم
Yeah, jama ma'ana salim. So it can only show nasab by means of the kasra, but these two words have no problem, so they can show it by means of fatha. Yeah.
على كثرة عددها وتباعد مواقعها في فترة وجيزة
Well, so these words are indefinite, right?
في فترة
Good.
وجيزة.
Yeah, just one thing, it's fatra. It's like a time period, a fatra. You
okay.
know, when Nabi
في
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam
so
experienced the fatra, when he forgot his first revelation, then it was like months before the next revelation came. So they call that fatratul wahi, like the period where there was no wahi, basically. So it's yeah, fatra.
في فترة وجيزة تبدأ من السنة الثانية إلى التاسعة من الهجرة حتى دانت جزيرة العرب ودخلت في الإسلام ومهد هو نفسه صلى الله عليه وسلم للفتوحات للفتوحات بما أعد ورتب لها ورتب لها من المقدمات ولولا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما كانت فتوحات
So here, this is actually lama. It's different than lamma. So the lam is like responding to Lola. Oh, whoops. The lam is responding to Lola, and then the ma is Nafia. It's like the one negating.
okay.
So lamma is like when, right? It's like a shart. But Lola, so had it not been for an-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, lama, there would not have been futuhat, conquest or whatever. So this lam is called I think it's usually lam al-jawab. Sometimes they call it lam al-muzdahliqa or something like that. But anyway, just like a lam that responds to the Lola. Lola, had it not been for, then, yeah. So like that's what that lam is doing.
I see. لما كانت فتوحات ولا كان للعرب شأن يذكر إلا إلا ما كانوا عليه من التخلف والفقر ليكون درسا للمسلمين أن يحرصوا على فريضة الجهاد ليتخلصوا من الضغط.
Uh, yeah, maybe it's supposed to be da'af. Actually, that dot looks like weirdly placed. Maybe it's just like a little speck or something. But yeah, I think it's da'af.
من الضعف والقهر.
I don't think you usually get Dad along with the line. I mean, once in a while, but like, I don't know, I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's da'af. It seems pretty, oh wait, ليتخلصوا من الضعف والقهر. Yeah, it makes sense, like from weakness and being overpowered. So it's not going to be da'af. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, there is no root like that, at least in this dictionary. Okay, so you can try summarizing this or translating.
Can you translate this?
Okay. So anjaza, so what form, tell me what form of the verb this would be though.
Form 4 باب إفعال.
Yeah, good. So injaz. So I mean injaz means like to execute something, like to do, carry something out. So basically he sallallahu alaihi wasallam executed all of these operations. Amaliya is like an operation. You can use it for military operation or like a medical operation, like a surgery. So amaliya is an operation. And they use it like in military like language as well as in medical language. So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam carried out these military operation, all these military operations, despite. So here ala is in the meaning of despite their huge number, despite their large number, and taba'udi mawaqiha, and the great distance of all their different like the great distance between all these different battles and occurrences, like all the great distances he had to traverse. Um, And he did all this despite all that, he did it in a short period. في فترة وجيزة. Because this is like a period from Badr to Tabuk is like what? Badr is second year Hijrah, right? And then Fathu Makkah is what is it? The 11th year? Uh so this whole thing is like it's probably like 12, 13 years that's being described here. So he says is in a short time. وتبدأ من السنة الثانية إلى التاسعة من الهجرة. So it started from, oh, he said it right here. It started from the second year of Hijrah and it went until the ninth year of the Hijrah. So did Tabuk happen in ninth year? It seems kind of early. Wait, Fathu Makkah was actually after Hudaybiyah, it was much less than 10 years. Yeah, I can't remember the dates, but
Like 7 or 8,
yeah, I think
something like
7 or 8 sounds right. So then, yeah, Tabuk, I guess 9 sounds right then too. But yeah, we should know these dates. Like Fathu Makkah, especially, we should know the year for that. حتى دانت جزيرة العرب. So Danat, like Dana, was it Dana Yadnu, I think. Okay. No, Dana. to Dan. What's the mudara for this? It's the same as like basically it's saying the Arab Peninsula is submitted basically.
Is it Yadin or Yad
Yadin, Dana Yadin. So
Yadin?
okay, yeah, that's like to Dana Yadin. I think that's right. Yeah, Dana Yadin. It means like to get
All
into,
right.
but here it's saying like to be to get like like to get closer, like they embrace Islam basically. It's saying, or it could mean oh sorry, that's not Dana Yadinu. This is Dana Yadinu, but there's two Danas, right? There's Dana in terms of the debt meaning, which is from Dane, and then there's Dana in terms of the religion meaning, which is Deen.
Yeah. Okay.
Interestingly, the second one they say it might not be originally Arabic because you don't find it in any other Semitic languages. But the Dane one you find in all these different Semitic languages. And they actually say Yawmuddin is from the Dane one because the Dane one has the meaning of like debts and recompense. So it's a day of recompense. Maliki Yawmuddin. So they say that's actually from that Dane meaning. Possibly. And this is just theories that linguists have. I just find it interesting. Okay, hatta Dan, so okay, so here it's be like they embraced their religion. It's not that they were submitting. I was thinking about like the Dunu, like to lower themselves. So here, حتى دانت جزيرة العرب, the Arabian Peninsula embraced the new religion, ودخلت في الإسلام, and they entered Islam. Entered Islam. I don't know if that's good English, to be honest. We always say it, but I don't know if it's good English. Like, can you say, oh, he entered Christianity? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we should be able to say entered Islam either. But I guess embraced Islam.
I think because I think they mean like entered the folds of Islam
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, enter the fold of Islam or enter
Other-
Islamdom. You know, have the Christendom. It's like you could say something like that, I guess. ودخلت في الإسلام ومهد هو نفسه صلى الله عليه وسلم الفتوحات. And then the النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم himself prepared the way for like future conquests by means of, so this ba sababiyya, by means of what he had prepared and organized for them, okay, by means of the preparations, the muqaddimah, the preparations he had made and ordered and arranged for these conquests. ولولا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما كانت فتوحات. If it wasn't for النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, there would not have been any conquest, meaning after his life صلى الله عليه وسلم. Because during his life, of course, obviously they happened because he was there, but then after his life, even then, the ones that happened for Islam are happening because of him, alayhi salatu wasalam. So this Lola is the harf, there's a name for it. I don't remember. But anyway, the jawab for it is coming with Islam. Jawab Lola. ولا كان للعربي شأن يذكر. And the Arabs didn't used to have any kind of, they weren't worth mentioning, right? Like they weren't even worth mentioning. Shan is like their situation. It's not even worth mentioning. They're like that lowly people. We don't care about them, except for what they had from being like really disagreeing with themselves or being backward, like the khallaf being backward, not like progressing, and poverty. ليكون درسا للمسلمين, so that this would be a lesson for the Muslims that they should be keen. They should be keen on the on يحرصوا, right? They should be keen on the obligation of jihad, meaning military struggle here. ليتخلصوا من الضعف والقهر, in order to become free from weakness and being overpowered by others, or like being subjugated. Qahar. We know al-qahr, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-qahhar, the one who overcomes and subjugates others, and who like overpowers others. And then al-qahr is just like the state of being overpowered here. Okay, Omar, you can take it from here, the Hudaybiyah.
All right. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال رحمه الله ونفعنا بعلومه في الدارين آمين. الصلح الفتح.
So not as-silh. You probably heard this before, right? A different vowel.
الصلح الفتح.
No, so sulh,
صلح. صلح. Yeah,
settlement
صلح.
treaty. Yeah, you probably heard it before, right? You just forgot.
Yeah, صلح. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Not in a good context. Like, I usually hear, this is صلح كلي.
Oh
Like
yeah. I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah.
But they say it like the Urdu way, like sulah kulli or something, right?
Yeah, I also heard it like their way, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, صلح الفتح الهديبية ودعوة العظماء. Yeah. Do I translate as I go, or should I?
You can try the title.
Okay, like صلح الفتح, like a proper no, like how would you?
Well, I think he's doing a little wordplay here, right? What is as-sulh?
Sulh is like to make things like right, or
Yeah, but but here that's not what it means. Like sulh al-Hudaybiyah, how do you translate that?
Sulh
You say it in English all the time, like the translation of it.
Trying to think, like peace.
Yeah, like a peace or like a treaty. Yeah, treaty.
Okay,
No,
treaty.
yeah, although yeah, I did see one person point out that like a ceasefire might be a better example, but I mean like he had some arguments for that. But anyway, let's say treaty or ceasefire of Hudaybiyah. But he's doing some wordplay here because we call it the truce or a treaty or a
Of the
ceasefire.
opening. Yeah.
What'd you say?
It's like of the opening. So he's saying like because of the opening of it, like is a treaty, or
Well, you can say it's both a treaty and it's a victory or like a conquest because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls it that, right? إِنَّا فَتَحْنَا لَكَ فَتْحًا مُبِينًا, right? So it's saying, okay, a treaty seems like you're compromising, but then it's also a victory because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so, and we know from the history eventually it became a victory because that's why Islam spread. So he's saying like it's both a treaty and also it's the fath. So you can say either this is the badal, and we know that the badal is like supposed to replace the mubdal minhu. Like it means the mubdal minhu, you can throw it away and the sentence would still be fine. So you're saying, okay, we're calling it a treaty, but it's not really a treaty, it's a fath. It's actually like a conquest or a victory.
is it
Or
بدل المباين, or
what do you say?
بدل المباين, or what would it be then?
You could say that, or you could say badlul. Well, it's talking about the same event, right? So you can say badlul kul min al kul also, because it's still the same event. It's just describing it differently. Or, but I see where you're getting with that. That's why I was about to say, or you can say atf bayan.
Is
You
that
know,
really a thing though? Like I've heard, like I know some scholars say this, but from what I've like learned about it, it's just like there's no difference really between it and the like badal.
they do say explicitly that anything that can be badal can also be atf bayan. So you're right in that sense. But because if you can't fit it in any of the proper types of badal, then it might be a reason to say, okay, this is atf bayan. My first Arabic teacher, Mufti Yusuf, Mullan, he used to say like, atf bayan is what we do when we can't figure out what else it is. But that's why I think some of the grammarians actually denied atf bayan. They said like we don't need this anyway. Why do we need to make another thing like this? But anyway, yeah, so you're right though, and if for badal, I feel like it wouldn't completely fit all of them unless you're saying this sulh is a fatah. So yeah, I guess it depends on how you read it.
All right. Hudaybiyah, so yeah, Hudaybiyah and the calling of the greats. Or
Yeah, like they're calling all the like the great tribal leaders to Islam, and they're bringing all their the leaders. They're bringing all the tribal leaders. So
yeah.
Hudaybiyah is what is Hudaybiyah again? Like what is that?
It's a place, right?
Yeah, it's a place, the place where this happened. I don't actually know exactly where that is. Does anyone remember that? Where is Hudaybiyah anyway?
Not
I mean,
sure.
I know they made it like outside of Mecca and stuff, but like I don't know where it is. Anyway, keep going then for now. We'll look it up.
All right. وفي السنة السادسة للهجرة تم صلح الحديبية. آه، وهادنا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. هادنا
Yeah,
النبي صلى الله عليه
Adnan.
وسلم
Yeah.
المشركين. هادنا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المشركين على ترك الحرب 10 سنين، وظنه المسلمون تنازلا لعدوهم، وكان في الحقيقة نصرا لهم، بل قال الله تعالى فيه: إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا.
Okay, you
Okay.
can just summarize up to there.
So in the 6th year of the Hijrah, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah was like completed.
Yeah.
And the Prophet ﷺ guided the mushrikeen. Sorry, one second, my dad's calling me. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. I'll take over for this one. I was just looking at the Hudaybiyah map for a second. Yeah, there are some maps, but they're just very low quality. Oh, actually, this is a nice one. I do have a good map somewhere like in the book, but I don't have it on me. I mean, I have it downstairs. I'll send it to the Telegram. Oh wait, it's not working. Okay. It's a GIF file, but it seems to be like it seems to have a blank background. Okay, there we go. I sent it on the group. Ghazwa to Hudaybiyah. So they're calling it a Ghazwa here, even though that wasn't the intention, right? They were only trying to go for Umrah. So where's Hudaybiyah on this map? Medina going out to Mecca. Oh, there's Hudaybiyah. See, it's to the west of Mecca. According to this map, it's due west of Mecca. Okay, so let me read from here because it's already 7:15. Yeah, so he said so wahadana. So hadana Hamza. Which form is that? Which verb form?
Verb form 3.
Yeah, good. This is verb form 3. It means to like conclude a treaty, basically. So he concluded a treaty with the mushrikeen, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in order so that they wouldn't fight for 10 years. So the fact that the treaty is for not fighting, it's not like it's not going to be like a forever treaty. That's why some people said it's better to try to like translate as a ceasefire or just a truce, like a temporary truce, because it wasn't like a treaty. Anyway, that's probably getting technical though, also about the meanings of these words, but that's what I read somewhere and I thought it was interesting.
All right, and back if you're
Okay, yeah, you can go from there. I just did the had and النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المشركين. هذا
okay.
ترك الحرب 10 سنين. So you can start from ذنه المسلمون.
Okay, على ترك الحرب وظن المسلمون تنازلا لعدوهم. And the Muslims, they thought him as like a tanazul, maybe like someone who I guess how would you
I don't think it's going to him, the who.
or oh sorry, the talking about the treaty or
Yeah, like they thought it was a bad deal basically. But yeah, go ahead.
thought it
Tanazul, like what do you think tanazul would mean?
like renounce or some
So
refrain.
what does nazala mean?
He knows less to go down.
Yeah, so here it's like a compromise. We're lowering ourselves to their level kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Tanazul. I see. Du'udu. So like lowering themselves to the level of their opponents, their
Yeah, and
enemy.
I know at that time Muslims were pretty strong even in relation to the Meccans. So like they're like, why did we have to do this? There wasn't any reason to do this, basically. Yeah.
Uh, وكان في الحقيقة نصرا لهم. And but in real what and in reality. So is this what? Is this for like would you translate it as like but or but in reality?
وظنه مسلم وكان في الحقيقة. You could say while, like you can make it a wow حالية,
Oh,
while in
حاليا.
reality. Yeah.
Okay. وكان في, yeah. So while in reality it was a victory for them. Uh, rather Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا. Indeed, we have granted you a clear victory, a clear victory.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know a good way to translate these, like to bring out the maf'ul mutlaq and all that, but yeah.
yeah. All right. Should I read this one too, or
Yeah, go ahead.
okay? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال رحمه الله: هدأت النفوس في السلم من حمية القتال والصدام، وأصبح لدى الناس استعداد أكبر لسماع دعوة الإسلام، وتمتع المسلمون بحرية تنقل وتبليغ الدعوة والقرآن، فكثر الإقبال على الإسلام، وأسلم من كبراء قريش جماعة، منهم خالد بن الوليد وعمرو بن العاص وعثمان بن طلحة سادن الكعبة المشرفة.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so so the so people calm down in في السلم. Silm is what, like in safety or yeah,
Just peace, like peacetime.
or like okay, oh peace, okay, peacetime from the protection like from the protection from fighting and see them like fight
Like meet Saddam is like meeting in battle or like even like the destruction of battle, like that's basically. But the Hamiya, I think Hamiya should be like.
safeguard. Sorry.
I thought it was like well, I'm not sure, but I thought Hamiya was used like for like you have that feeling of like it comes from, it's like the same word as like fever and stuff, so that they want battle. So like
Mm.
it's wartime, so you want battle, like you're already like fighting these guys all the time. So now Hamiya, like they're saying hada'at min al Hamiya. So they had this like they wanted to fight because they were like actively fighting, and now they're calmed down from that.
Okay.
There's some hadith that have Hamiya. I just can't remember the wording now.
Yeah, I think maybe like okay, himaya would be I guess more like
Yeah,
protect.
Himaya is like protection, yeah.
So hamiya is okay.
But I'm trying to see is it the same root I'm thinking of. So Hami'a, to become angry, furious, mad. Maybe it's from that root. But yeah, I need to look it up in the other
I
dictionary.
think you're right actually. I just searched it up.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the same root pretty much with two meanings.
Yeah, interesting. They have a name for that, right? Asma al-Dad, like carries two opposite meanings in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
the usually the Saad Dal Meme, it has the connotation of like destruction and a collision and stuff like that. Like the arm basically here the meeting of armies. Sudan.
okay. أصبح لدى الناس استعداد واستعداد. And it became for people the readiness استعداد أكبر والاستعداد. Like like a greater readiness, I guess, for listening to the call of Islam.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, because of that, people became more. Yeah, they became ready to listen. Because you're not actively fighting these people anymore. So okay, fine. Let's see what they have to say.
And the Muslims were pleased with the freedom of the transferring of the call and the reaching of the call.
Yeah, so tamatta'a would be more like enjoying. They were like enjoying that freedom.
Or enjoying. Okay. Enjoying. Yeah, with the freedom of like the spreading or the transferring
Yeah, I guess.
of the call in the Quran, or
Yeah,
like the
here you
power.
could say like no, well, tanaqqal here, I think they're talking about they can go anywhere they want, travel, right? Because before you
I see.
can't go to any enemy tribe areas. Now that you have a treaty, you can go anywhere.
بحرية التنقل. Okay, I see.
Yeah, so you can go anywhere in the Arab Peninsula now.
تنقل وتوليد. No, fine. Okay. So the acceptance for Islam increased. كثر إقبال على الإسلام, and from the
So
great.
Iqbal is not acceptance though, right? Iqbal is like
Oh,
more like interest. Like more people are interested in it more. But you're right. I mean, what they're talking about is also acceptance, but like this is form four, right? So like I think here it's like something like acceptance, like interest in it. Aqbala alayhi.
okay.
Or like coming closer to it, approaching Islam, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yes, right. All right. The approaching. Okay. Yeah. So people basically drew near to Islam more than before, and from the grades of Quraysh, like the grades of Quraysh accepted Islam or became Muslim.
Yeah, or like a whole group of the greats,
Well,
whatever you want to call them, the leaders of Quraysh.
from the greats of Quraysh, a group accepted Islam.
Yeah.
From them was Khalid bin Walid, and Abdullah bin As, and Uthman bin Talha, who was the Sadin al-Ka'ab al-Musharraf. He was the Sadin. It's like
He kept the keys, right? So like
oh,
I guess
keeper. Okay.
gatekeeper or something. I don't know. Or
Or the
door. Like I don't know.
custodian.
That's a good way to yeah.
I've heard custodian, I
Yeah,
think.
custodian, you could say custodian. So this is that tribe, right? What tribe was he from? It's famous, right? This still had like the same tribe still has the keys today, but I can't remember the name of the tribe. It's like a famous tribe. Okay. Well, I guess let's keep going for now, and then I'm gonna try to look that up though. Uh, Okay, so I'll read the next one, and then you can read the last one for today. So he says, وأرسل النبي صلى الله. So it's Ma'alim bin Talha. I was looking up if we can find his tribe quickly. Asmar ibn Talha ibn Abi Talha, Abdullah ibn Abdul Uzza ibn Abdul Dar. Oh, Abdul Dar. So they're from Abdul Dar. That's the tribe that still has it today. So he's from Abdul Dar, which is a huge tribe, Abdul Dar. And they actually, the Nisba that they say, it's like an abbreviation. So they say Al Abdul Dari, which is like an abbreviation for Abdul Dar. Al Abdari. That's what they call that tribe now. Although I don't know, I know that like some modern member of that tribe still holds the key today because he was granted that by Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وأرسل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رسله وكتبه إلى الملوك والعظماء مثل كسرى الفرس وهرقل الروم والنجاشي بالحبشة والمقوقس بمصر والحارث بن أبي شمر الغساني بالشام. الغسان was the Christian tribe. And all of Sham is pretty much Christian and dominated by the Byzantines. هو المنذر بن ساوى بالحيرة بين جزيرة العرب والعراق. So north to the north. وغيرهم من ملوك الأرض والعظماء يدعوهم إلى الإسلام. So النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم sent his messengers and his letters. So kutub, here it means letters. Classically, it was used for letters and not so much for books. But because they talked about books less, more for letters and like contracts. So he sent his messengers and letters to the kings and the leaders and or lords, like kings and lords, like the Kisra of the Persians. So the Khosrows, they say in English. Well, Herakle Rum. So here the Herakle is not a title, it's a name, right? So Heraclius of the Romans. Heraclius is like the Latin version, and Heracles, I think, the Greek version. Interestingly, these guys, they were Roman, but they were Greek speaking. They were not Latin speaking. When Najashi bil Habasha and what do they say in English? Negus, right? Did you guys ever see that famous spelling bee video? where they try to make that kid spell negus, and he's like really scared because he thinks it's like some racist term. But it's like a famous, it's like a, I think it's one of like a very old video on YouTube. So he says the Negus in Abyssinia, or what they call now, what is it? Ethiopia. والمقوقس بمصر. It'd be interesting to see where this title came from, Muqawqis. Is it like some Coptic word or something? I don't know. But in al-Muqawqis in Egypt, this one is a title. It's not a name. والحارث ibn Abi Shimr al-Ghassani b'Sham. So he was the governor of Asham for the Byzantines, and he was a Christian. والمنذر ibn Sawa بالحيرة. I think Munzir ibn Isawa, he also gave like a positive response, but he didn't actually become Muslim. I think that's what I remember, but I'm not sure. بين جزيرة العرب والعراق. So that's between the Arab Peninsula and Iraq, so to the north of the Arab Peninsula. وغيرهم من ملوك and other kings and greats, and he calling them to Islam. So here we have يدعوهم, which is mudari', but because it's coming after a madi verb, which is arsala, we translate it as like past continuous. He sent these messengers to these people, calling them to Islam. So we translate it as like something past continuous. Okay, Omar, you can do the last paragraph for today.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال رحمه الله ثم كان فتح مكة المكرمة في السنة الثامنة ودخل الناس في دين الله أفواجا وأقبلت على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في السنة التاسعة الوفود الوفود
Uh, isn't it Wufud?
person or الوفود.
No, I'm not sure now because both patterns exist for this broken plural. Al-Wafud or Al-Wufud? Let's someone else can look too.
Like delegations, I think, right? Like
Oh no, I was thinking about the dubbed. I was thinking it's Al-Wufud. But
وفود.
yeah, you're right. It means delegations. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
No, I just meant it has a dhamma on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see.
yeah.
Yeah, وفود.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, and then تبايعه على الإسلام وتعطيه العهود فسمي ذلك العام عام الوفود. Yeah, it's وفود.
Oh yeah, I just thought that now.
Right.
Although, that doesn't mean anything, right? The fact that some editor put it in here doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
You can get it wrong too.
it's something though, at least.
Yeah.
All right. So then the opening of Mecca al-Mukarram, or the conquest of Mecca al-Mukarram, or then was the conquest of Mecca al-Mukarram in the year 8, in the 8th year after Hijri. And the people entered Islam, the deen of, or people entered the religion of Allah in groups,
Yeah.
like large groups, and they like accepted, أقبلت.
Yeah, so here you can say accepted or they came to him. So Iqbal ala has like a lot of meanings. I'm looking right now, and they either approached or like turned towards, gave him his intention, they devoted themselves to him. Like all these are possible here, or it could just mean with that. So with ala, it can mean all these things. Then like there's other ones too for other huruf.
Okay.
See how we translate it anyway, just to see. So we said, oh, by the way, Munzir ibn Sawa, he did accept Islam from Bahrain. So sorry. But the old Bahrain, not the modern Bahrain. That used to call Bahrain a different part, which is north and not south. Anyway, so here he said that delegations came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's all he said. Came to him.
Okay. Yeah. They came to him in the 9th year, or sorry, yeah, in delegations, or delegations came to the
Yeah,
Prophet.
yeah. So this is what's the Arab of al-Wufud?
Is the fa'il.
Yeah, fa'al. Okay, yeah. So it just came up.
تبايعه على الإسلام وتعطيه العهود. Like purchasing Islam from him,
وبايع يبايع.
or like they're like kind of like.
So it's bay'ah, right?
Or they're taking oath.
Yeah, they're giving bay'ah. They're like they're what do you call it? Pledging allegiance.
Okay. And giving him like their like pacts.
Yeah, literally giving him pats. You can call it like swearing oaths, right? Like because an ahad is like an oath or like a pact. Yeah. It's more than a pact, I guess, because a pact is like between equals, but they're like submitting to him.
Okay. Yeah, so giving him like an oath and then oaths, and then so that year was called Am al-Wufud, the year of the delegations.
Yeah. So that was the 8th year of Hijrah. Okay. Okay, so I think we'll stop there for today. So here again we have this is in Mudara and this is Mudara, but because of this Madi, we're gonna read it as like past continuous. It has like that istimrar. It has that meaning of istimrar, like something was going on continuously in that year. اوكي اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. اللهم تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم. اللهم انصر الاسلام والمسلمين واخواننا المجاهدين في كل مكان على عدوك وعدوهم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, I'll see you guys. Well, I'll see Hamza tomorrow, and inshallah, see you guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.